Hey everyone, how's it going? Thanks so much for tuning in. For today's video, we'll be taking an up-close and personal in-depth look with the all-new Mazda MX-5. Funny thing is, day before I came to film this car, I took delivery of a Fiat 124 Spider press car, and a lot of you guys know that it shares the same platform as this, so there's some similarities here and there, but it's a very unique car in a lot of different ways. But I will be doing a separate in-depth review on the 124, so if you'd like to see that when it's ready, the link will be in the top right-hand corner of the video. In this review, we'll start it up, show the engine, get an exhaust clip, go over the performance data, take a thorough drive, and show you many of the unique aspects throughout the interior as well as exterior. Before we begin, I'd like to extend a huge thanks and shout out to Skyland Automotive for providing this opportunity to us today. For more information about the dealership, including contact info and current inventory, please feel free to check out their website provided in the description box below. So without further ado, let's go ahead and hop on in, start it up, let her run. The MX-5 is offered with a Smart Key entry system. It's a $130 option that allows you to simply lock and unlock the car by just keeping the key fob in your pocket and using the buttons on the door handles. Our tester is finished in Soul Red, which is a $300 paint option, paired to an all-black leather interior part of the Grand Touring package with red accent stitching. To start, all you have to do is just make sure you have the key fob within the interior, then put your foot on the brake or brake and clutch in manual cars, and hit the dash mounted button to go. A new double pinion electronic power assist steering rack replaces the previously used hydraulic system, while still retaining excellent feedback. The steering delivers the proper level of sharp and precise behavior expected from any MX-5, but enhanced further thanks to a number of dynamic changes underneath the sculpted aluminum bodywork. It's immensely easy to control with a nice tight feel around corners and minimal steering kickback. The overall ratio is 15.5 to 1 and it takes 2.7 turns to lock. The turning circle is measured at just 30.8 feet. It's just as fun, if not more fun, to drive than the last MX-5 thanks to a reduction in steering shaft friction, smaller body dimensions, less weight, and a center of gravity that's been lowered by 1/4 of an inch or so. This is a car that's been designed around its driver, emphasizing Mazda's human-centric driving position. The windshield was brought closer in and more upright for greater visibility. The raised front fenders are also a nice touch when it comes to keeping track of the front end. The steering wheel itself is a sporty 3-spoke multifunction design that's wrapped in leather, accented by bright silver trim and finished off with grip bolsters at 2 and 10. All trim levels of the MX-5 are now offered with your choice of 2 transmissions, including a standard 6-speed manual or a 6-speed automatic with steering wheel paddle shifters. The 5-speed manual that was previously standard on the base model is no longer offered. I haven't driven an automatic MX-5 yet, but the Fiat 124 Spider I drove did have the automatic minus the paddle shifters. For a car like this, the manual gearbox is the best way to experience everything the car has to offer. It's part of the whole experience that makes it such an engaging driver's car. The MX-5 Club takes the performance envelope a little further by adding a torque-sensing limited-slip differential when paired with the manual. Mazda still makes one of the best and most satisfying manual transmissions you'll ever have the pleasure of driving. It weighs 16 pounds less than before, accompanied by a 3-pound lighter drive shaft. The short throw shifter is direct and offers excellent feel, while the perfectly placed pedals and easy to manage clutch offers less footwork, quick rev matching, and less time to get familiar with it. In other words, even if you're not that familiar with manual transmissions, it's so easy to operate that you wouldn't want to shy away from it without giving it a try first. The manual is just one of many new Skyactiv technologies that are found throughout the 4th generation MX-5 that make it a truly delightful car. So let's go ahead and flip on the automatic and adaptive LED headlamps, as well as the hazards. Both windows are automatic down. Now let's go and check out the exterior, shall we? Upon closing the door, the vehicle will chime for a few seconds to let you know it's lost detection of the proximity key fob. Launching as an all-new model for 2016, the 4th generation MX-5 reaffirms itself as one of the most affordable, enjoyable, and entertaining sports cars currently available. It builds upon everything that was great about the prior 3 generations to deliver a truly awesome product that's perfectly suited for any driving enthusiast. If you're familiar with Mazda's current lineup, then you've certainly heard the term Skyactiv technology. Collectively, it represents the brand's newest philosophy of car building and the biggest departure for the new MX-5. With an end goal of delivering the most efficient package possible with regards to performance, design, and fuel consumption, no detail was left unturned. In fact, the MX-5 is Mazda's only front-engine rear-wheel drive application of Skyactiv technology. Statistics and claims aside, it's also led to a more enjoyable car, as even though it's a fully modern car in every way, Mazda took the MX-5 back to its roots in a way, or in their words, innovate in order to preserve. For starters, the new MX-5 is a smaller car, shrinking in both wheelbase and overall length by 0.8 and 3.2 inches respectively, accompanied by shorter front and rear overhangs. Its roof is nearly half an inch lower while width expands by 0.6 inches. The windshield has been moved 2.8 inches rearward, leading to a longer hood that's also a bit lower than before. More impressive though is how much weight was shed. The MX-5 is claimed to be about 150 pounds lighter than its predecessor, depending on trim and equipment, making it just 182 pounds heavier than the first generation MX-5, despite all the safety and technology features that are crammed into cars nowadays. It all begins with a redesigned chassis that now incorporates 71% high-tensile steel within the body, frame, and underbody crossmembers. That's an increase of 13% over the 3rd generation MX-5. All of the exterior body panels except for the doors and windshield frame are now made from aluminum, which is said to shave about 45 pounds from the body in white. The MX-5 now wears Mazda's new Kodo Soul of Motion design language that's characterized by the long hood, short overhangs, cropped cabin that's pushed far back, and the large wheels that are moved as far towards the corners as possible. I do like the styling of the Fiat 124 Spider, but the Mazda is absolutely beautiful. It has that fun sports car look that's all wrapped into a tidy package that conveys a sense of purpose and agility. It's also a more aggressive and planted design than the previous MX-5, especially with the narrow-angled LED front lighting. The MX-5 is offered in 3 trim levels, including the $24,915 Sport, the $28,600 Club, and the $30,065 Grand Touring. Our Grand Touring tester, with Soul Red paint, smart key entry, and an $835 destination fee, stickers for $31,330. Outside of having a power retracting hardtop, the MX-5's manual folding soft top is probably the easiest setup you'll ever use. The whole process takes about 5 seconds, making it super convenient. Whether you want to drop it at a stoplight or secure it back in the event of a sudden rain shower, it's light, user-friendly, and simply perfect. To lower it, there's a lever at the top of the windshield header. As you push it back behind the roll bars, apply just a bit of extra pressure to ensure it locks in place. There's another handle between the seats and right above the storage compartment that unlocks the top and raises it a few inches so it's easier to reach to close it. Once released, simply grab it and pull it towards the windshield while simultaneously locking it back in place. For 2016, the top even weighs a little less than before thanks to the use of aluminum for the top bows and supports. With the top down, there's a removable wind deflector in between the seats to reduce cabin air turbulence. 16 by 6.5 inch wheels are standard on the MX-5 Sport, but with the Club and Grand Touring you receive larger 17 by 7 inch wheels. They're wrapped in 205/45 high-performance Bridgestone summer tires that are capable of holding over 0.9 G of lateral acceleration. Providing strong and communicative braking behavior are 11-inch internally ventilated front discs and 11-inch solid rear discs. Each are clamped down by single-piston aluminum calipers. With the Club, you also have the option of a BBS Brembo package, which adds BBS forged aluminum wheels, as well as an upgraded Brembo braking system, in addition to added styling bits like I talked about earlier. Mazda also claims the standard front brakes shed 14 pounds over their predecessors. With this setup, the MX-5 can stop from 60 miles an hour in about 110 feet. 4-wheel, 4-channel ABS with electronic brake force distribution is also included, along with dynamic stability control and traction control. As far as the suspension, it's very similar in design to the previous MX-5, including double wishbones with aluminum upper and lower control arms in front and a multi-link rear with aluminum bearing supports. Monotube shocks can be found at each corner, but with the Club we receive higher performing Bilsteins. Additional aluminum components, including the front suspension knuckles and differential housing, help shed 26 pounds from the new car. Generally speaking, the MX-5 exhibits excellent road manners and superb control on twisty roads. The chassis and suspension is rigid and well composed. It communicates the road surface well but is never unsettled or transmits negative feedback such as cowl shake. Its lightness plays a big role in its controllability and allows for greater immediacy with steering inputs. Overall length is 154.1 inches with a width of 68.3 inches and a height of 48.8 inches. It rides on a wheelbase of 90.9 inches and has a curb weight for the manual transmission of 2,332 pounds. 53% of that weight rides over the front. The 4th generation MX-5 is powered by Mazda's all-new 2-liter Skyactiv G 4-cylinder. It's positioned longitudinally in a front midship layout that's about half an inch lower and sits 0.6 inches further back compared to the previous engine in order to lower the car's center of gravity even further and sharpen handling. Compared to the transverse 2-liter used in the Mazda 3 and CX-5, this rear-wheel drive application adopts new intake and exhaust manifolds. Like before, the MX-5 features a variable induction system. The block and head is constructed from aluminum, while the valve train consists of chain-driven dual overhead cams, 4 valves per cylinder, and variable valve timing. Fuel is delivered via direct injection. The compression ratio is set at a lofty 13:1, while maximum engine speed peaks at 6,800 RPM. It develops 155 horsepower at 6,000 RPM and 148 pound-feet of torque at 4,600 RPM. If you're familiar with the 3rd generation MX-5, you'll notice horsepower is actually down by 12, but torque is up by 8 pound-feet. Despite this, with less weight to toss around, the new MX-5 is a bit quicker. Expected to take just under 6 seconds to hit 60 miles an hour. Top speed is drag limited to about 130 miles an hour. Even more impressive is how this engine is 25% more fuel efficient than its predecessor. EPA fuel economy estimates for the manual transmission range between 27 miles per gallon in the city, 34 miles per gallon on the highway, and a combined average of 30 miles per gallon. Premium unleaded is recommended for maximum performance, but 87 octane is acceptable. Fuel is held within an 11.89 gallon tank.
Now let's go and see how she sounds, both sitting still and on the road.
MX-5 also makes great strides with its interior, which features a wealth of new technology, improved fit and finish, and greater passenger space. The latter isn't necessarily related to a drastic dimension change, but better utilization of the available space. For example, the seats benefit from a new design that replaces traditional springs with a net and urethane material. This alone sheds 8.5 pounds per seat and allows them to be 35% thinner than the prior MX-5. On top of that, the seats were able to be positioned lower in the chassis to improve the center of gravity and increase headroom by nearly half an inch. The backrest can also be reclined a bit more, again making things more accommodating for taller folks. It also makes you feel like you're sitting deeper within the car, like you're a part of it. It's a great feeling, still delivering an excellent driving position with great forward visibility. On longer trips, the MX-5 is more comfortable than you would think. The seats aren't that plush, but they offer good support and full manual adjustments. On the driver's seat, there's even adjustable thigh support. The headrests are fixed and, when equipped with the available Bose audio system, actually incorporates speakers for a surround sound-like experience. The steering wheel can be tilted manually, but there's no telescoping adjustment. Along with having a thoroughly updated and arguably more upscale design, the quality of materials have also taken a big leap. The knobs and buttons all feel more substantial. The plastics are much nicer and there's softer padding than the essential touch points with red stitching in this example. Probably my favorite thing are the color-matched upper door panels, a great design that allows for some added color contrast throughout the interior. Mazda claims that between the instruments and the air conditioning system, 8 more pounds are able to be dropped. The air conditioning system itself is 20% lighter than the unit in the previous MX-5. The general ergonomics are excellent with ideally placed controls that are both intuitive and easy to use. Probably the biggest downside to the MX-5 is that it's not a practical car when it comes to interior storage space. There's a touch of space in between the seats and movable cup holders, but there's no door storage pockets or a glove box. As far as safety, the MX-5's chassis features a continuous frame from the front bumper to the rear bulkhead, and is designed to resist deformation while simultaneously diffusing impact forces in the event of an accident. Being an open-top vehicle, additional reinforcements were added behind the seats, including the rear bulkhead and roll bars, both of which are made from aluminum. There are side impact door beams, dual front airbags, and side impact airbags. Standard on the Grand Touring is Mazda's suite of iActive Sense safety features. This includes lane departure warning, rear cross traffic alert, blind spot monitoring, automatic high beam control with adaptive front lighting, and rain sensing wipers. The MX-5 Club and Grand Touring comes standard with a Bose 9-speaker audio system, including the headrest speakers I mentioned earlier. It's all routed through the Mazda Connect infotainment system and a 7-inch touchscreen display positioned in the top of the dash. In addition to voice commands, you can also control the system through a simple rotary controller in the center console. Very similar in concept to what you would see from Mercedes-Benz or BMW, it allows you to easily scroll through the system's features without distractions on the road. It also feels quite nice in your hand with a partial knurled surface for more grip. Along with Sirius XM satellite radio, there's HD radio, Bluetooth phone and audio streaming, internet radio capabilities, and 2 USB inputs. Navigation is standard on the Grand Touring. Here you also have automatic climate control with your temperature to the left, fan speed in the middle, and different zones off to the right. There's also front and rear defrost. At the very bottom is a small storage tray, some of your media inputs, as well as heated seat controls to the driver and passenger. Across the center console, there's a bit of padding on the armrest that opens up into a bit of storage space. At the rear, you have your lockable storage compartment, 2 cup holders, and a CD drive. The cup holders can be removed and positioned towards the forward portion of the console for easy access to the passenger. Again, there's not a lot of storage space at the interior, but it's a pretty decent amount to have a bit of extra security with the locking feature. The left-hand side of the instrument cluster is a full digital driver information system, while the steering wheel provides easy access to your lighting and wiper controls.
Now let's go ahead and shut her down, hop out, and check out trunk space.
Out back, there's a button to open the trunk right above the license plate housing. Total cargo space decreases this year from 5.3 cubic feet to just 4.59 cubic feet. It wasn't a lot of cargo space to begin with, but Mazda reshaped the trunk to feature a wider opening and a deeper recess that they claim can fit 2 weekend travel bags, which was not possible in the prior model. In the trunk, there's also some illumination and a roadside assistance kit.
Well everyone, I hope you enjoyed the in-depth look at the all-new Mazda MX-5. Be sure to stay tuned next time, there's always a lot more where that came from. Take care everyone.
it.